Hi, welcome to Roadrunner 2. This is a 70E. It's a 2011. It's actually hull number 43 of the series, and this is one of the most popular length vessels Marlow's ever produced. Between 60 and 80 feet tends to be the largest that most owner-operator families can handle. Between 65 and 70 feet is where a lot of insurance companies decide you should have at least a part-time captain. But I've had many owners with good boating experience be able to insure themselves and run a 70 by themselves if they're not moving up too quickly at one time. It's a 3-stateroom, 3-head boat with an adequate crew cabin. And by adequate, I mean the average American captain's pretty happy on here for a few weeks at a time. I wouldn't say it's a full-time live-aboard crew cabin, but it's certainly adequate for the customer that wants to run from Florida to Maine for the season and maybe run back down. I find that most owners in this size class tend to move the boat for a while and sit or locally cruise for a while, so you probably don't need a captain on board all the time, but maybe you want part-time help when you're moving the boat often. Come on aboard, I'll give you a tour. Alright, welcome to the cockpit. This cockpit area is really nice for 6 adults to eat at. You'll also find as the boats get bigger, maybe you traditionally were always sitting in the cockpit, but I find as the Flybridge gets larger, you tend to use the Flybridge more often than you use the cockpit, especially in a busy marina. As you know, you attract a lot of attention in a yacht like this, and sometimes if you're in a busy marina, you really have no privacy at all back here. So I find that a lot of couples choose to dine up in the Flybridge, which I'll show you in a few minutes. But I do have all the bar functions right here, which is really convenient. So come on in. What we've done is tried to make this very convenient, so your wine glasses and regular glasses are here. I have a Sub-Zero drink fridge with an ice maker, my wine cooler, storage, and a bar sink all right here. The key here is I don't have to go in and out of the galley to entertain in this area. Lots of storage on the other side as well. So really, all of your glassware, all of your beverages can be kept back here. You'll notice in the Marlow that it's a very open feeling. This is kind of a trademark thing with the Marlow, leaving this open to the pilot house. It really gives you an illusion of more space than you have, being able to see all the way through to the windows, through to the bow. So it really has a much more open feeling than most motor yachts in its class. This boat was built with 2 big built-in settees, which are very space efficient, and there's a lot of storage underneath. The television is on a lift and comes up here. You can also have it down and just on if you want, but that's on an electric lift. Really nice desk area. I find if you're on the boat for weeks or months at a time, having a place to set up your laptop and pay the bills and all that stuff is really nice. Right here is your main electrical panel. I won't go into detail here, but from this spot I start my generator and switch over from shore power to generator power. I have all my 24-volt lighting, all my 110 breakers, so I really run the whole boat from this spot right here. Alright, this is a galley up design, which if anyone in your family gets seasick and works in the galley, being able to see the horizon when you're working in this space when you're underway makes a really big difference. My wife tells me if the galley's down and she starts doing tasks looking down, she gets seasick pretty quickly. But working up here where I can see where I'm going and see the horizon, you just have a much better feeling underway on a rough day. We've chosen to use these Sub-Zero drawers here, so I've got 2 refrigerators, 2 freezers, and 2 additional refrigerator drawers up there, so I have 6 drawers total. Come on around here, let me show you the dishwasher. So I've got a nice Fisher Paykel dishwasher here. Notice on the Marlows, all the drawers are dovetailed. They're all on ball bearing slides. Hold up very well, very securely close. I've got a really nice full-size cooktop here and a nice big Bosch oven here, microwave as well. Dish storage, easy to reach. You know, proper spots to put things so that things don't fly around. And just tons of storage all the way around. This is a vent that really goes out, so there's actually a fan up on the Flybridge in one of the cabinets that blows out, so it sucks all of your steam and cooking smells out of the boat as well. Forward here is that extra set of Sub-Zero drawers, which is really nice in the 70. You don't have this in the smaller boats, so it's really nice to have the 6 drawers here instead of just the 4. Lower helm, really nice to have the 2 chairs if you're going to use the lower helm a lot. I find here in Florida, I tend to be up on the Flybridge early and late, but during the peak hours of the day when it's hot, it's very comfortable down here. I still like the height of being at the Flybridge when I'm docking, but when I'm just cruising along 6 miles off the beach at 9 knots, it's really comfortable sitting in this pilot house. I've got the window shades on today, of course. And really either helm is equally good, so I have all the same electronics available to me at the upper or lower helm. So there's no advantage of being one station versus the other. My systems are down here because I can waterproof them better. So I've got my water maker control over there. All these breakers and switches had to do with running the boat. So the panel I showed you earlier was living on the boat, and this is all about running the boat. This diagram is a pretty neat Marlow feature. See this diagram of the boat. And anytime a bilge pump comes on, I see it come on, and I can look it up on the menu here and see what it was that came on. So I have high water alarms, bilge pumps, water pumps, black water pumps, navigation lights, so I can really see everything that's going on with the vessel right here, which is really handy. Very quick when you have an alarm or something to look it up and see what the problem is. This is my tank tender, and this thing shows you how many inches of fluid are in each tank, and then this guide tells you how tall the tank is. So you know that if the tank is 18 inches tall, half a tank is 9 inches. Stabilizer control, inverter control, bilge pumps. All really simple. Really nice newer Garmin package in this boat. This boat originally had a different system in it, and the owner about 5 years ago, I think it was, updated everything to the new Garmin. Let's go down below. Alright, welcome to the master stateroom. I have a Centerline King. This is the most stable spot on the boat, so the center of buoyancy for this boat is actually right about in the shower, just behind this wall. So if this boat is moving around a little bit, this is the most stable spot on the vessel. And what we've done here is we've split up a lot of the hanging lockers so it doesn't look so big, bulky. So I've got 4 hanging lockers. I've got 2 on this side, 2 on that side. Really beautiful chest of drawers. Again, this boat's designed to be able to be on it for weeks or months at a time. These are called Soji screens, and these allow you to get some light in here without letting people see into the stateroom. It's amazing how often you're on a dock and people are walking down the dock looking right into your bedroom. So this is a really nice option. Of course, I still have shades as well to block these out, but these are a really nice touch. I've got another locker here. Plenty of storage in that area. And then I want to show you the head and the shower area. It's really an exceptionally large shower for this size vessel. Alright, so it's a very large shower on centerline again, and I'm 6 feet tall, so there's plenty of room in here for taller people. It's a nice big shower, and I can access it from either head. These are mirror images of each other, so you each have your own sink and toilet and storage area. I also have opening ports, so this port light actually leads to the side deck, not the outside hull. So this is actually a fairly safe port light to leave cracked open if you're steaming it up in here and you want to get some fresh air. Lots of storage in these storage cabinets. Storage below. Again, the entire vessel is teak and holly floors, and that is a solid teak product. That's not a veneer plywood product. Let's go forward and look at the VIP. All right, this is the VIP forward in the vessel. Again, it's a nice large queen size bed and has its own head and shower. Lots of storage below, so I have 6 really nice drawers here for guests. Large hanging lockers. And again, every hanging locker in this vessel is a cedar lined hanging locker with a light that comes on when you open the door. Big head and shower again. Again, I'm 6 feet. I have plenty of room in this shower. So when you get to the Marlow 70, this is probably one of the rooms that changes the most. I now have the length to build a really nice set of double bunks here and a private head just for this stateroom. It takes about 65 or 70 feet to accomplish all this in this area. But this is a really nice stateroom, and adults wouldn't mind sleeping in here as well. I've slept in this bunk and it's plenty long for a 6 foot tall adult. And then in here I've got a really nice, again, head with a full shower stall. Alright, let's go up to the Flybridge. Welcome to the Flybridge. I've had the opportunity to run this boat a lot. Great running boat. I think this 70 is kind of the sweet spot for me. I feel like I can handle this boat all by myself. I actually was able to run this boat for the first owner all the way from Tortola back here to the yard, about 1,100 miles. We did it in 8 days at 8 knots. Good running boat, 1,900 gallons of fuel, so you've got the range to go to Tortola on a tank of fuel. You've got the range to go to Boston on a tank of fuel. Really quite a big difference between a 58 and a 70 when it comes to the ability to run for days and days on end. This boat really likes that 9.6 knots, or it likes 19. At 19 you're at like 70-75% load depending on how heavy you are, and having that combination is great for coastal cruising. So what I find a lot of owners do is maybe I get up in the morning and run 8 or 9 knots for a couple of hours. Everybody gets situated, pump it up to 19-20 knots for a couple of hours, and then slow it back down at the end of the day. And when you do that, you know, it's easy to do a 150-mile day. Whereas if you had a slow trawler that only did 8 knots and you ran for 10 hours, you'd only go 80 miles. So being able to cover that 100+ miles a day effortlessly is a really unique feature of these semi-displacement boats like the Marlows that have some real speed. So we do have a plastic enclosure here and glass in the front, and we have air conditioning and heat up here. So this is really a pretty good space if I want to heat and air condition it as well. Again, like I mentioned when we were on the in the cockpit, you may choose to eat up here because it's actually more private than being down in the cockpit. So this boat wasn't set up to do the Great Loop, but it's an easy modification to do. If you look at the boat next door, you can see that that dome bracket is hinged and that light mast bracket is hinged. We can put those same brackets on this boat and make this a Great Loop capable boat. For those of you that don't know, there's a bridge in Chicago that's 19.5 feet. So it's pretty easy to make any Marlow, probably below 75 feet, do the Great Loop with some modifications on the hardtop. I'm also seeing a lot of these domes go away now because Starlink is really replacing the DirecTV dome for a lot of people, and they're just using a streaming service. Okay, when you are using some help and you have a captain on board, one of the important things to look at is how do they come and go from the vessel. If you're inside in your comfortable clothes watching a movie, you want the captain to be able to come and go at his leisure without disturbing you. So this is a really nice entrance, so I can come and go from here and not come into the vessel. So you want the captain to be able to come and go. at his leisure without disturbing you in the salon. And this crew cabin is designed to be as self-sufficient as possible. So I've got a place to sleep, I've got a place to sit and be, and I've got some refrigeration, I've got my own head and shower. Alright, one of my favorite things about this crew cabin is just having this seat here. It's really nice when you're helping run a boat and you have a place to be on your laptop, talk to someone on the phone in private, and not be in your bed. When everyone's running the boat and everyone's busy, it's all good. The challenge is on that rainy day in the Bahamas when you're sitting in a marina for 2 days, what does the captain do with himself? And really having kind of a little lounge area is really important. This has a head, and it's a wet head. I actually find a lot of times you're marina hopping, captain's going to use a shower on shore a lot. And I use this on a long trip, but usually the way we use boats here on the eastern U.S., we do a lot of marina hopping, and we're going to use marina facilities quite often. Nice big bed. Separate head area. And then this is your shower and sink. Let's go in the engine room. I'm going to talk a little bit about what you're probably going to do as an owner, you and your captain, if you have one, in here. You're really not going to work on these engines. You're not going to do a bunch of stuff to them. You're probably going to have Caterpillar come on the boat once a year. They're going to hook up their laptop, just like the car dealer would hook up the computer to your car. And they're going to download a bunch of data, look for error messages, and resolve issues, just like you do with your car. They're electronic engines, there's a lot of sensors, there's a computer that keeps track of everything, and if something's really going wrong, you're going to get a warning message. But just like your car, you're going to check the oil once in a while, probably a little more often than you do in your car, and you're going to look for leaks. Probably your biggest job as an owner, and the captain's biggest job, is to look for things that are unusual in here. So before every trip, I make sure I come in here. And I like to come in here about an hour after I've been running and look around. You need to know what normal looks like when it's running. And it's really pretty simple. You're not going to do a lot in here. If you're going to be a person that's going to use the generator a lot, I would say you probably need to get more proficient at maintaining the generator. If you're going to anchor out in the Bahamas for weeks on end, then you need to know how to change the raw water impeller, you need to know how to change the oil, you need to know how to change a fan belt on the generator. But that's a much easier thing to work on than the main engines. Let me show you a few things in here. Sorry about that background noise, that's actually the AC chiller pump. I don't know if you noticed, but when we were in the boat, there was really no air conditioner noise, but the air conditioner was on. And that's because the noise you hear in here is the compressors for the air conditioning running, and that is cooling the entire boat, and all that noise is in here by design. This boat has a single 1,900-gallon tank. It's a composite tank, it's not a metal tank, so it's never going to wear out, and it's the full height of this bulkhead, and this is going about, I think it's about 30 inches deep, and then the master shower's on the other side of this wall. So I've got a bulkhead, a big fuel tank, another bulkhead, and then my master head. And that's what makes it so quiet in the rest of the boat. I've got a lot of sound insulation here. Really simple tank, I use it like my car. I don't have any valves to switch, I don't have any transfer pumps, nothing unusual to do. I fill this boat up and I use it. And I have one tank to keep track of. A lot of boats in this size range have 3, 4, 5 tanks, and to be honest, it's easy to make a mistake and select a tank with not enough fuel in it, or overfill a tank, or forget to do the right return valve. There's many mistakes that can be made when you have 4, 5, 6 tanks. When you have one big tank, it's just like your car. Fuel comes out here, these nice metal fuel lines come out, and they come to these filters. There's dual filters for everything on the boat, so this engine has its own filters. Right now, this filter is active. See this pointer here is going to this filter, so I'm on this filter. If this one started to become clogged because it had a fuel problem, I could very easily pull this pin, flip it to the other filter, and keep on running. So really simple to operate. Generators have the same setup. The has a dipstick, just like a car. Check the oil. And then on the transmission, I have a similar, smaller dipstick. Actually, it's easier to show you on this one, actually. So this is where I check the oil on my transmission. Really simple. And then what else am I looking for? I'm looking under the engine for coolant or oil. I'm looking at the exhaust here. That's a critical area in a boat. So I want to make sure I don't have anything dripping or any exhaust gases coming out. But really it's pretty simple. You're not going to do a lot in here. I have coolant level, just like I do in my car. So you can see right here, it says cold full. So it has radiator fluid just like your car does. And you make sure that's okay. I've got a fan belt for this alternator right here. It's a little hard to see, but you know, I want to make sure my fan belt wiggles but it's not too loose. Not a ton to do down here. Pretty simple to operate a motor yacht these days. The tools are really good. There's a lot of feedback from the instruments, and there's just not a lot to do. The other thing I do when I do an engine room check is I check whatever the shaft system is. This is a really neat shaft system in this boat. Those are big U-joints like you would see in a big semi-truck, and that's a cutlass bearing. I'm sorry, that's a thrust bearing back there. And it's a lot less friction than a typical shaft system. Let's see if I can turn this one. Try that with a normal boat. So gotten rid of a lot of friction there. I'm turning that, I think it's a 38-inch propeller with 2 fingers. So saves a lot of horsepower. This is part of that shaft system. So that's an oil-filled shaft. There's no cutlass bearing. There's no dripless shaft seal in this boat. That's an oil-filled shaft inside a tube with ball bearings instead of cutlass bearing. Got a nice water maker over here. We've got it on right now. It's a really nice water maker. I think that does 900 a day, if I remember right. But anyway, we leave it on, leave the water pump on, and it'll freshwater flush itself every 7 days and keep everything fresh. That's a fire system, so I can manually deploy that if I know I have a fire, and if it gets to a certain temperature, it'll automatically deploy. So really nice safety system there. Generator on each side. It's a little awkward getting out there. Once you're there, it's fine. You just heard the chillers come on. So it's a chilled water air conditioning system. Instead of having 9 different air conditioners in this boat, those chillers just make a loop of cold water. Works very much like water baseboard heat does up north. But instead of having a boiler making hot water going around the boat, I've got chillers making cold water. Now when I go up north, I can also program that to make hot water. So I do have heat, probably down to about 50-degree water. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I've got a link of another walkthrough here in the video. The full listing is here, and feel free to call me anytime with questions. Thank you very much.